Hey, welcome to episode 2 of Coffee with Kiyonah. So, what should I talk about today? What's on my mind? Well, I was looking around my house, just giving thanks for my blessings, and I realized that we have a tremendous number of books, like a ton and a half, thousands. And I kind of take it for granted, I guess. I just absolutely love books. And I put all of the really coolest ones I could find back in my bedroom. And then all the other ones are scattered through the house, but there was too many to fit in my bedroom. So I guess what I'm getting to is that I want to do a little experiment where I read to you at some point during coffee time each day. Just little snippets from some of the incredible books that we have. It would take years to share all these books. But anyway, so I want to just randomly grab one of these great books we have, randomly flip through it and see if something jumps out, and read it and see where it takes me sometimes, if I can't really think of something really epic to say. So this book is called Sharing of the Heart. Every time I've randomly flipped it open in the past, it's been just wonderful. So let's see if I find anything. So I opened it up to page 146. And you can see that it's handwritten, hand-drawn. It's pretty old. Before I read it, I'll tell you. It says it was published in 1989 by Richard J. Otto. It's a first edition from January of 1990. And so this is page 146. Okay, so here we go for today's reading for Coffee with Kiyonah. To maybe sprinkle some seeds of ideas and thoughts. How should a spiritual soul express their remembrance of divinity? Should they wave a banner proclaiming the knowledge of truth, or set about the task to reform the world about them? One immersed in their God nature sees the truth of one reality as the ultimate play of consciousness, and in this realization they commune into harmony with all of life's expression. There is no need to verbalize truths of limited knowledge, or change that which appears to have lost its balance. One reorders their priority to express their God consciousness, and allows all expressions of life to rest in their varying stages of awareness. The eyes now set firm into a gaze beyond the relative, and view the depth of infinite vastness. The fear has left, and only a serenity found in freedom remains as their relationship with the world. And deep in harmony with the balance of the universe, their energy now fluoresces to reflect their consciousness abiding in remembrance of truth eternal. To find one who lives in spiritual realization is not a task for the eyes. It is the heart that guides one into their presence, for our Godhood is a communion shared. And that seems really interesting to me because it ties right into what I said during coffee time yesterday about awareness, alignment with principles like unconditional love, and actively going through the ascension process. You know, that this is a time of new beginning when we're sort of resetting the operating system of humanity. And we do that by being a living example of the change we want to see in the world. So, yesterday I was talking about starting with awareness, alignment, and ascension so that you can get a grip on yourself and start walking the path that you really want to walk, whatever that may be. As an activist, as a digital nomad, as a homemaker, as a builder, an artist, whatever, a gardener, a revolutionary, whatever. Today, I think what I'm interested in discussing with you is being in the flow. Being in the flow. At times when I was really down and I felt far from alignment, I just could not get in the flow. I could, like, when I'm in the flow, and I know I'm going somewhere, I can literally say, like, open parking space right up front, open parking space right up front, or green light, green light, green light. And it'll be green lights and open parking spaces. Or I'll say to somebody, I really want something. I want a pair of boots. I want a rocking chair. I want whatever. And sure enough, within a few days or less, I go out driving around with my partner and we find that very thing, either on the side of the road, or someone he knows is letting it go, or we find it at a thrift shop. And it makes me feel like I'm in the flow, where the things I think about and I want actually show up in the world. I think that's actually accelerating right now. So how do we get in the flow? You know, how do we get in the flow? Especially if life has really gotten us down and we're at some kind of a crossroads or a dark night of the soul. How can we get in the flow? Well, one thing you can do is look into practicing magic. Magic, hoodoo, witchcraft, you know, good earth magic, nature magic, pagan magic. You know, and when you do that, when you do those actions, rituals, ceremonies, spells, or whatever, it sets you up with a feeling of expectation. Like if you order something on Amazon and you expect it to come and be delivered to your house. When you're doing magic and witchcraft, so to speak, you're saying, you know, as I light this candle, I set this spell forth into motion, that life now rules in my favor, that I experience the beauty, the love, the connection that was taken from me so rudely. I call it back to me now, and it is mine. And all threats against that are now rendered lost, impotent, and broken. They are now purging out of my life at a smooth and rapid rate. They are now scattered, lost, and impotent, broken and forgotten by those who would dwell on those details about me. I now claim my divinity as a child of the source on earth here. I claim the freedom. I do not consent to fear. I do not consent to blah, blah, whatever. And then you light your candle and you send out that emotion and you expect that. Same thing if you want to be in the flow, you know. As I light this candle, I cast this spell forth into being, that I am now the recipient of prosperity in any good form. Gifts, finding things on the ground, getting rebates, getting things I forgot about, winning contests, having someone give me a bunch of good stuff, earning it, getting an opportunity that'll bring in a lot of money. I now bless and receive all opportunities for prosperity in my life. And I now rescind and disown all previous thought forms that had to do with scarcity or poverty. And I vow to recite these vows every time I backslide until I get what I want, which is connection, love, beauty, serenity, whatever you're wanting, or power, or whatever you're wanting. I tend to want healing and happiness again, so that's what I focus on. So that's one thing you can do to get in the flow, you know, and you can also do other things where, like you make a vision board with pictures of what you're really wanting, and you set it up in a place where your eyes will see it every day. You don't even have to pay attention, but it'll sink into your subconscious. It become what you expect to come into your life. So say you're wanting a white Volkswagen Westfalia camper van, and you can't quite get it yet. And someone offers you a beat up old Buick and says, well, here you go, now you have a car. You have to decide if you're going to take that car for now and work your way up to a van, or if you're going to pass it by and trust that another offer will come that's better. That's what I usually do. I'll see something and I'll be like, well, I was looking for one of those, but that's pretty beat up. That's not really good enough for me, you know? And then a few days later, we'll see another one that's like a better design and prettier, like a baby back carrier or an office chair or something. We drive around a lot, so we see stuff being set out on the curb, you know, or we meet people that are giving things away. They're cleaning out their garage. So that's a good way to be in the flow. Another good way to be in the flow is to do something every day that sort of gets you in the zone where the flow is. So, like having a deck of tarot cards you like and just shuffling them blindly and then blindly drawing one. And keep doing that and just looking at it and not thinking anything until your mind goes into this zone and you start having magical thoughts. Another thing is to do entheogens, like DMT. That can bring you a lot of revelations that put you in the flow because you're vibrating at a high frequency. But there seems to be something about the emotional power that is crucial to getting in the flow. Like you have to believe you're in the flow. So if you see any tiny example, you want to grab that and let it strengthen you and say, see, the flow is real for me again. I am in the flow. You know, I needed a quarter and I found one on the ground right there, or whatever. Or I needed a parking space right now and there it is. It opened right up. Therefore, I'm in the flow. And the flow will get stronger for you, you know. And as you get in the flow, you begin to trust that there's always more where that came from. Even if you don't know where it came from, there's more where that came from. So say you have been finding jackets everywhere and people have been giving you jackets or boots, you know, and some couch surfers come to your house and they just happen to be from a warm climate. They don't have what they need. You trust that even though you handpicked each one of those jackets and each one is really cool, but you don't wear it, you just keep it. You trust that you can give it to them as a gift of your friendship and your alliance, and trust that the flow will be bringing you more, and this time even cooler, better colors, better style, better fit, whatever. And then when you find the one that's right for you, you keep it in your closet and you leave all the rest to share with other people. And I've found that this flow, the source of the flow, really likes to do that. You know, we go to thrift shops looking for books, and it's amazing the books we find. It's like they were magically put there for us because they have no resemblance to any of the books around them. They just happened to be put on the shelf when we were going to be coming in the store. We saw them, we were like, oh my gosh, we have to have these books. You know, and we take them home, and they have a new home, and they're part of our New World Rising library, so that anyone who comes here is free to browse through them, make Xerox copies, maybe borrow it and send it back. You know, most of the people who have stayed here have either stolen the books outright, or they've left the books here and wrote down the names and said that they were going to buy a copy later. But even with books, like Steal This Book by Abby Hoffman, you know, just put it out there, let it get stolen. Because if you do get into the flow, then you know more and better stuff is coming. I don't feel that way about sentimental things, like throwing out baby clothes and children's toys and things, because some of them are irreplaceable, and you don't want to throw away the memories of that. You want to clear out, in order to increase the flow in your life, you want to clear out things that aren't that cool, you know. It's either an absolute yes or an absolute no. Clear out those things that aren't that cool. They're just taking up space, and make room so the flow can trickle in more. And as you get better things, you can let go of other things. As you find new blankets or get new blankets, you can let go of the ratty old ones or do something with them. You know, cover your garden with them or make a dog bed or something. So that's part of abundance. So we've got awareness, alignment, activism, ascension, and abundance. All these begin with the letter A, the first letter of the alphabet, which I think is pretty appropriate for new beginnings. I'm going to see if anything else jumps out at me. Let's see. These are some really cool poems. This one just says Fire of Passion. It's page 242. Forged in the fire, we burn uncontrollable, but are we consumed? Energy strikes in explosive blindness, yet balance rests in the harmony of unseen forces. Thus the wheel turns in passion, but desire it's only its play. Always more lies unseen, awaiting a witness. Never does the lightning strike without a fire burning beneath to call it down to destiny. But does blind chance rule the fate of downcast eyes? For the light is power, and blinds all who come forth, lest they be of valor. Power is approached with power, and the door be the same for all. Mood is the holder of truth, and accepts the power of the lofty summit, as the lightning flashes and the rocks melt asunder. We are the very power used to challenge our own integrity, and stoic be our countenance, yet fierce joy burns in our heart, and the fire flames forever. And this is the picture right here. That's pretty nice. So I love poetry. I love good books. I think it helps us be more articulate and more have beautiful ideas. So I just thought I'd share that with you. So have a beautiful day.